So let's just jump right into it, shall we? So we've got Johnny, we've got the Cabbage Boy. And what is the status? Let's pull this up here. Here we go. All right. So we got this Cabbage Boy over here, right? Okay, so what's going on? We've still got the case scheduled for March 7th, 2025. Now, I have an inkling, and we're going to talk about it after today's theory and after we work through what we're going to work through today, that, and this would be the best news ever. I would be a little frustrated, but it'd be the best news ever. His case could get delayed again. That's right. You're hearing this from me. So they originally moved his case from December 20th to March 7th. And, as of date, it's planning to be that, that's on track. But there's a possibility, if some things happen, that we could even get that pushed out longer. And remember, the longer we get his case delayed, the longer it's pushed out, the more he has to stay in Korea, where he can't stream, he can't work. He has to pay rent, whether that's through money or through services to a certain femboy lover. We all know who. We're going to find out. We're going to find out because actually we actually have information on Johnny's location. Regardless, he's got to pay for food, whatever else he needs, Pampers. And he's got to do all that by himself. It's costing him. It's costing him time. And he's locked essentially in the prison of Korea. He is still venued in the Western District. So his case is still within the Western District Court of Korea. So this is something that matters because if it was consolidated, if his case was fully consolidated, then what they would do is they would take his case probably from the Western District and combine, let's say, what he did in Lotte World in the Eastern District and other crimes he did in the Eastern District. They would combine those and probably put them in the Central District and merge in the Central District. But so far, most of his crimes, the crimes we're going to talk about today, including the additional charges, occurred within the Western District, which is Hongdae, which is Itaewon. That's all in the Western District, in the Western District Court, which is in Mapo, right? Which is where his trial will occur. So still there. We still have a travel ban. He still cannot leave. He cannot go anywhere. That's still locked down. He has no work authorization. So his current visa is a litigation-related visa. So he is on a litigation-related visa. He cannot work under that visa. So there you go. He also doesn't have any access to the benefits of Korea. So he's not getting, for example, free Korean healthcare. That's not happening, right? He doesn't have any other social benefits or anything. It's just he's there for the purpose of litigation, for the purpose of this trial, and that's it. So he's got no work authorization. He is not actively streaming. But, and here's the big but, we have additional charges, baby. As of today, Johnny Somali, Ramzi Khalid Ismail because it's not Ishmael, he's not Jewish, definitely Islamic last name, is charged with an additional count of violating the Minor Crimes Act. So he now has not one, but 2 counts of violating the Minor Crimes Act. The cases were merged today. So this literally happened today. Johnny has not received an official court English translation of this decision yet. He's literally learning from this stream. He is learning right now. He's got an additional charge against him, right? And let me just make sure that this information is flowing like Dionysus here. Minor Crimes Act. So what is the Minor Crimes Act? So let me pull this down. We've gone over this before, but I'll go over it again just as a reminder because I know some of you are new. Some of you may have been tuned out, want to tune back in. So the Minor Crimes Act, it can be punished by a fine of up to 100,000 won, or by misdemeanor imprisonment. Right. So there's a decent punishment there, right? Or misdemeanor imprisonment. But it can be a lot of different things. So these crimes, for example, that are part of the Minor Crimes Act, and this is the English version, right, can include, and I'm just going to read some of them: breaking into empty houses, carrying concealed weapons, preparing for violence. Let's see, failure to report people in need of support. So having knowledge of people with disabilities and not helping them. False assumption of official titles, so saying he's a lawyer, right? Inertia selling of goods and solicitation. Unauthorized posting of advertising, interference with water, littering, urinating, damaging nature, right? Begging, creation of insecurity, making someone feel uneasy, annoyed, drinking, disturbance of neighbors, throwing things in dangerous conduct. So there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of stuff in this Minors Crime Act, a lot of it. Misrepresenting personal information. A lot of potential stuff coming under the Minor Crimes Act. So we don't know what exactly it is. Now, do I have a theory? Yes. This is going down in the Western District. So that means it has to be something he did in Hongdae, because mainly what he was doing wrong was in Hongdae. He had a lot of stuff in Itaewon as well, but in the Western District, he mainly was in Hongdae. So it probably was something like either the ABC incident, something related to that, the ABC pizza incident, or it could be related to him picking on the streamer with a disability. Because there was that one Korean streamer, and I couldn't find the video real quick, but we played it before on this series, this Johnny Somali series. There's a Korean streamer who has a disability, who he yells at, he barks at, he gets down on all fours like a dog, and he's like, woo, woo, woo. And he's like barking at this guy, and he's like, these are my streets, I own these streets. Remember that video? You guys probably remember that one. It could be that as well. That's one theory as well. So there's a lot of things that in Hongdae. I think it will be related to one of those, because that streamer said he reported him to police. So because that streamer said he reported him to police, they can definitely get him for Minor Crimes Act for that. It was extremely cringe. Extremely cringe. So that is one possible thing that could have gone down with the charge itself and what the charge itself is for. Now, he did so many things on film, we actually can't be sure. So what's going to go on with Minor Crimes Act, and what's the theory? Well, I had the chance today to do some catching up with a good friend who is very well versed in this, and he told me this is a massive deal because he has never seen a case where they've merged in two incidences of the Minor Crimes Act. It's very rare, extremely rare. And there's a limited purpose for why they would do this. So I'm going to share with you a little write-up here on the Minors Crime Act and when it gets prosecuted more seriously. And this is actually a document that's in Korean and in English, so it's going to have both languages, so Koreans out there can read this as well. So let me read you a write-up of the Minor Offenses Act. So why this is a big deal. So this is a write-up here, and let me try to zoom in a little bit on the Minor Offenses Act and when a minor offense is prosecuted as a more serious charge. Okay. So, and there's a Korean version, but I'm going to read the English, obviously. My Korean is not great right now, but Korean readers out there can appreciate it. This is an official write-up here. A prosecutor's decision to re-indict an act of dining and dashing. So this is, dine and dash is when you eat and you don't pay the bill. So this is covered under the Minor Offenses Act. So he's giving an example of one type of minor offense. We don't know what Johnny's was for. It could be for urinating. It could be for being an asshole. Who knows? But let's just say A prosecutor's decision to reindict an act of dining and dashing as fraud may be understood as a structure similar to a charge in the case. A change in the charge and applicable legal provisions following an amendment to an indictment. So they could add this charge and then upgrade it to a more serious charge. So this is what we may see here in Johnny's case. We may see them merging these cases. So that's what they've done now. And now that they've merged the cases and they see he has a pattern of behavior, they may take the minor offense and upgrade it to a more serious offense. While by itself, it might have been a minor offense, the prosecutor may look at it in the aggregate and say, oh, we're going to upgrade this to a more serious charge because this is a pattern of behavior. So this is why, one of the reasons why it's serious. Number two, the prosecutor's discretion to directly indict instead of requesting summary judgment. If a prosecutor determines that a formal trial is necessary, which in this case they are going to formal trial, so it's already been done, considering the severity and specific circumstances, they may proceed with a direct indictment instead of requesting summary judgment. So minor crimes, by the way, are typically dealt with just summarily. So meaning if you're charged with urinating, you typically don't go to trial. You just pay. You're just dealt with through what's called summary proceedings, which are done real quick. You pay and it's done. It is so rare in the first place to see these go to trial. It's incredibly rare. But then to see two separate charges and then being merged in, and they're all going to trial together, along with the obstruction of business charge, that is extraordinarily rare. Which means they're taking it very seriously. And here we go. Here's another reason why they might take this seriously. They might do a direct indictment of the Minor Charges Act for repeat offenders or public safety concerns. Even if the act falls under the Minor Offenses Act, a prosecutor may decide on a formal indictment if the offense is repeatedly committed or poses a serious threat to public safety. So what they're saying here is he actually has done over and over again things that are wrong, and he could pose a serious threat to public safety in Korea. If the minor offense endangers public safety, prosecutors may skip summary judgment and file a formal charge. So, in summary, they usually bring minor offenses when they overlap with a more serious crime, when they deem the case serious enough for a full trial based on circumstances, and if they're a repeat offender or a public safety risk. And beyond that, right, it can lead to show persistent or harassing behavior, right? So it can show this pattern that Johnny has not just committed one crime, but has committed many crimes. Let me go to my presentation because this is going to be very clear here. This is very, very clear in my PowerPoint. You guys are going to understand. I forgot to put arrows, but you guys will get it. You're smart. Okay, here we go. Some cabbages, right? So here's all of Johnny's charges. He's got charge number 1, obstruction of business. Charge number 2, the Minor Crimes Act, which was added in December. Charge number 3, Minor Crimes Act, added today, 2/11/2025. And he has what I would speculate will be future charges. I'm telling you right now, it is my prediction that Johnny Somali will face additional charges, that the charges are not done yet, that they will either upgrade some of those minor Crimes Act offenses, or they will add additional offenses. And if they do that, it's highly likely that they're going to bump the trial date even further out from March. And what this shows is when the judge looks at this, They're going to say this is not just obstruction of business. Because remember, we talked about this. Obstruction of business is not usually harshly punished. It's obstruction of business. It's Minor Crimes Act. It's Minor Crimes Act. Minor Crimes Act number 1, Minor Crimes Act number 2. And then imagine if it's deep fakes. If they add on deep fakes, which can get serious criminal time. Let's pretend the future charge is deep fakes. This adds up to jail time. This together adds up to jail time. While Korea is typically light on punishment, when you put all of these things together as a pattern of behavior of a person who is terrorizing Korea, who is terrorizing Seoul, who has a pattern of negative behavior across the city, a rampage, you might say, it puts it all together and ends up with serious potential time in jail, real time in jail, being very, very possible. All right. So my prediction is we're going to get this case delayed. Now, I'm still planning on, March 7th. I'm still going to gun for March 7th. We're still going to talk about March 7th as the date because that's the official date. I have the documents. The date is March 7th right now. I could very realistically see it getting pushed back. If they're going to add more charges, they're going to push back the initial date. Maybe 30 days, maybe 15 days, maybe 2 months, who knows? The longer, the better. The more they delay it, the better. Starting in the summer would be great because then he's got to stay there until winter. Remember, these trials take months. So if the trial takes 3 to 4 months, if they push his trial into the summer, let's say they push it to August and it takes 4 months for the trial, he's not leaving till December of this year. Then he'll have spent over a year locked in Korea. That'd be great. That'd be absolutely great. So I'm hoping that's what happens here. I'm hoping that's what happened in this case. All right. So that's what we have for the new charge. Now, I've got some new information. This is courtesy of our best boy Hanky Poo. In fact, it's exactly where I said it was the entire time. Our good old friend Hanky Poo, the infamous Asian, has admitted that Johnny is sharing his bed. He's with him. This Diddy's dildo. I don't know what that is. Hanky Poo over here said that Johnny is with him, staying with him. So, like we thought all along, Hank and Johnny, cuddle buddies for life, hanging out with each other, sheltering him. I wonder if his parents know he's doing that. I wonder if they know that Johnny Somali is being harbored at their rented apartment.